Hi-ho, Tudor-minded people. It's Philadelphia Carrie for Tudor Time Machine. The word I share with you this week is Frampold. Tudor Files. I have recounted how I overheard a parley between the French ambassador and the Scotsman's secretary, and learned the huge news that Queen Mary of Scots was to marry Lord Darnley. I hesitated to impart the tidings to Her Majesty. She is no Frampold, no ill-humoured scold. Heaven forbid I should bandy base words to decry her puissant majesty. Yet, when sorely vexed, she can burst out like a shot from a cannon and box one's ear. I would not be the messenger who, when he tells Cleopatra of her Antony's marriage to Octavia, is set upon by the Frampold Egyptian. "Gracious madam," he cries, "I that do bring the news made not the match." No, indeed. But nor do I desire that my good queen should discover that I knew of these tidings afore her royal self, and yet held my tongue. Could this not be considered treason, and the Tower my doom? Or perhaps I would be rewarded for my knowledge, and given preferment for speaking out. Ah, much sleep have I lost over the past days, the words of Lady Macbeth resounding in my mind. Wouldst thou have that which thou esteemest the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the adage? Ah, friends, friends, 'tis true indeed that conscience does make cowards of us all. This morning my saucy maid inquired, "Mistress, did I stick you with a pin while doing up your sleeves? You are in such a Frampold humour with your good Jane." The chit spoke true. I have been ragged. But now, Pitikins, the alarm has sounded. The news is out. Monsieur de Foix and Her Majesty were playing chess. She checked the French ambassador, and with a smiling visage took his king. He, I hazard from ire at his loss, said Her Majesty might take his king, but that she must soon relinquish one to her cousin in Scotland. The queen went quite pale. My fellows and I moved to aid her, but she swept us away, and demanded the meaning of the ambassador's words. He disclosed to her the marriage between Mary and Darnley. I believe the man smirked a little as he spoke. All know the lengths the Queen has gone to prevent this marriage between two who both pretend to the crown of England. All know that the Queen discovered that Darnley's mother, the Countess of Lennox, was plotting the union, that although she forbade him to go into Scotland, Darnley disobeyed our Queen, that she insisted Darnley return, that he flouted her order, that she sent the Countess to the Tower, that she even suggested her own dear Robert Dudley marry the Scottish Queen, that she sent her trusted courtier Throckmorton into Scotland to stop the match. And yet the Queen immediately retired to her rooms. The moment she entered her chamber, she flew into a rage, such as might rival Jupiter's, and we all took cover as her thunderbolts split the heavens. Yet I defend my dear lady. Her rage is worthy of the goddess that she is. She has been driven to this Frampold state, and I lay no blame at her royal feet. Nay, I kiss them, and I thank the gods I kept my tongue.
How now, Tudor Files? What think you? If you're new here, I'm Gage.
I'm Jessica.
And we're here with Philadelphia Carrie for Tudor Word of the Week.
Indeed, today I am here to tell you this tale and to share Frampold with you. But Tudor Files, I must return to London, for there has been a murder at the Globe Theatre.
A murder? Who was murdered? What happened?
I cannot say, but I must discover the truth, for my brother is patron of the troupe.
You must return and tell us all of us Tudor Files, what happened.
In the meantime, Philadelphia, we'll play some of our favorite Tudor Word of the Week until you can come back.
Yes, that's perfect. But, Philadelphia, we want you to be very, very careful because we don't want anything to happen to you.
Indeed, I shall be in mortal peril. Use your discretion, for I know you and all Tudor Files love me, and might faint to consider a knife pointed to my alabaster breast.
I certainly hope there will be no knife pointed at you at all.
Philadelphia, I think so we can all stay calm. We should go on with this week's Tudor word.
And how do you spell that word, Philadelphia?
It is spelled Frampold.
And it means sour-tempered, peevish, cross. Do you think Elizabeth was in a Frampold humor about Mary's marriage to Darnley because she was jealous?
Well, I certainly have read a lot that Elizabeth was always Frampold about the people around her getting married because she was unmarried and childless herself.
And there is this idea that she had a big rivalry with her cousin Mary of Scots.
So that movie with Margot Robbie and Saoirse Ronan, I mean, isn't it all about that? And didn't Elizabeth propose to marry Darnley herself?
Maybe she was in love with him. Supposedly he was pretty hot.
Oh, what a pair of simpletons you are! Silly gulls without a mickle of sense. In love? Hot? Do you imagine royals and nobles, queens, indeed any who are not base-born, marry for such reasons?
Well, Elizabeth did ask Darnley. You can't deny that.
Oh, speaking with you, Gage, would cause a saint to be Frampold. Yes, my good queen suggested marriage between herself and Darnley as a way to entice him back to England. She never would have married him.
So it wasn't love, just politics.
Queen Elizabeth feared a united Scotland under the rule of two Catholic monarchs, especially because of the meddling of that antichrist papist king, Philip of Spain.
Philadelphia, take it easy.
Well, Philadelphia's using strong language, but I don't think she's really exaggerating Philip's involvement. Everybody knows about this big rivalry between Spain and England. And let's remember, England was a very small country at this point compared to the Spanish Empire. Elizabeth had a lot to fear from Philip. And it's true that he was always looking for ways to undermine her and the Anglican Church. Let's use some historical documents to support our argument, because here is a written exchange between Guzman de Silva, the Spanish ambassador to London, and King Philip. So in 1564, Guzman writes about this situation with Mary and Darnley. As far as I can learn, this queen is greatly incensed about the affair, as she thinks the Queen of Scotland's party in this country will be strengthened greatly by it. And there is a suspicion that the match has been arranged with the concurrence of some of the great people here.
And King Philip writes back, "Your news has been very pleasing to me. And on the presumption that the marriage of the Queen and Darnley has really gone so far, the bridegroom and his parents, being good Catholics and our affectionate servitors, are considering the Queen's good claims to the crown of England, to which Darnley also pretends. We have arrived at the conclusion that the marriage is one that is favorable to our interests and should be forwarded and supported to the full extent of our power. We have thought well to assure the Queen of Scotland and Lord Darnley's party, which we believe is a large one in the country, that this is our will and determination, and that if they will govern themselves by our advice and not be precipitate, but patiently await a favorable juncture, I will then assist and aid them in the aim they have in view. I think well to advise you also in order that you might know my views and keep them quite secret from the Queen of England and her friends, seeing the great danger which would result in the business itself and all other of our affairs if it became known."
No, that's a pretty clear message. And also, I think when Philip says, "I will then assist and aid them in the aim they have in view," I think that aim was probably to overthrow Elizabeth and to install themselves as Catholic King and Queen of England. So, I mean, this correspondence is so interesting between Guzman and Philip, but Philip also writes about sending large amounts of money to support Mary and Darnley. So he's also kind of aiding them to stir up a military too that can help them in their view.
Elizabeth had many reasons to feel Frampold about this union, and not because she was jealous of Mary's wedding dress or Darnley's hot bod.
So I told you. Take heed, Tudorphiles. Add some 16th century sauce to your vocabulary with Frampold. Oh, how I shall miss you until I return to tell of this murder at the Globe. Think on me with mercy while I am away, and help Tudor Time Machine become a huge presence on the web. Don't forget to give me a like.